Hi friends, hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. I'm not, because I have to talk about all this. Today's video, we're obviously going to be unpacking everything that has been going on in the beauty community lately, the circus, if you will. I just want to start this whole video off by saying obviously I'm going to be talking about Shane Dawson in this video, because his Twitter thing was, I had some thoughts, but I have some takes, and we're going to be addressing that in this video too. But I want to be like fully transparent because I know there's a lot of discourse happening in the beauty community about content creators talking to commentary and drama channels behind the scenes. And I have talked to Shane behind the scenes. I have DM'd with him. I want to make it very clear, he never like fed me tea. He never gave me any information. I wouldn't say that he really did anything for my career besides the fact that I gained a ton of Twitter followers when he shouted me out. So I have talked to him behind the scenes, but it's nothing like what Ashley Kyle has been describing in her videos or what Sanders Kennedy described. That's not the relationship I've ever had with him. We've talked like maybe 4 or 5 times. But I will say, I agree with their point that it does become difficult to criticize people once you've had conversations with them. You have to kind of say to yourself, I know that I've had a good relationship with you, you know, whatever that is. I wouldn't call us friends, but we're definitely like, you know, we've talked. But it gets to a point where it's like, I can't lie and say I thought that Twitter apology was anything good. I can't, because it was bad. I really actually took many issues with it that I'm going to talk about. But I do want to preface it with that, just to like full disclosure, full transparency. I don't want anyone to think there's anything shady happening. Like, that's the tea. So just to kind of summarize what's happened basically the past few months that I think has led to this sort of discourse around Jeffree Star, where people are starting to not necessarily turn on him, but there's definitely people who are like, I used to really support him, but now I can't. He's definitely used to be this like untouchable figure, and I think now a lot of things have happened that it led it to be that's not really the case anymore. I think first is the Dahvie Vanity situation. Creepshow Art, she did a ton of research on this, and I would highly recommend checking out her content on this because she definitely covered it really well. But that basically happened, and what came along with that was I think where a lot of the problems started. Jeffree Star did an interview with 2 people to kind of talk about the Dahvie Vanity situation. He talked to Chris Hansen, which that interview, I watched the whole thing. You know, that interview was kind of weird. It was just weird having the person who was being interviewed be the leader of the interview. It was very obvious that, you know, Chris Hansen wasn't really challenging a lot of things. It felt like Jeffree Star was definitely controlling the narrative behind that interview. But what really got a lot of people angry, you could say, was when Jeffree Star went on the Mom's Basement podcast. So the Mom's Basement podcast is Keemstar's podcast. I have a lot of thoughts on Keemstar. Don't like the guy. That's my thoughts. But basically, Jeffree Star went on, and FaZe Banks was on, and there was this other guy, I don't remember his name. He was the only one calling Jeffree out though, so props to him. But in the last 15 minutes or so of the Mom's Basement podcast, Jeffree Star started talking about the James Charles situation. Because if you don't know anything about the Dahvie Vanity situation, basically a lot of people think that Jeffree Star had information that Dahvie Vanity was underage children, and that Jeffree Star didn't say anything or go to the police about it. And some parallels were drawn because Jeffree Star has stated up until this point that he still does think that James Charles has done some stuff. He still claims that he has evidence that James Charles has done things that are inappropriate. So they drew some parallels to like, hey, this James Charles situation, you claim you have all this evidence, but you won't go forward with it. Doesn't that kind of sound like the Dahvie Vanity situation? And Jeffree was saying, no, that's completely different. But in this interview, Jeffree basically said that he still to this day on his phone has a voice note that is a personal account from someone basically saying that James Charles did something to them. And he was very elusive about it. He was like, I'll play it for FaZe and then he can tell you. So he's playing this for other people in the YouTube community, which first of all is so messed up, because he then went on to say that the reason he didn't expose it was because the person who was saying it did not want to come forward, so there was no way to 100% verify that it was true, but that he personally believed it. This was really annoying and really frustrating. Luke Alexander did a good video at the time, kind of listening to the podcast and breaking it down. I'm gonna link a lot of videos down below because this is like a web at this point. I feel like there's a lot of information you need. So then the cremated palette happened and he got some hate for that. And then there's an Instagrammer named Cameron Lester who did a live video where he basically talked about his experience working with Jeffree Star, kind of being Jeffree Star's friend. He basically felt that Jeffree Star was using him as kind of a token black person for his campaign campaigns and for his PR list, and he never felt like the sort of relationship with him was genuine. He said Jeffree questioned him about James Charles before the whole bi sister thing happened, and told him that he wasn't going to owe him forever, and was kind of alluding that there were things about James Charles that Cam didn't know. And one of the other things that was kind of big about this was Cam said that he was in a hotel room with Jeffree Star, and I think it was Rich Lux, and Shane Dawson called Jeffree Star, and this was like a month before the bi sister thing. Shane Dawson called Jeffree Star and was cursing out about James Charles and was like talking shit about him, and Cam said he thought that was really weird because Shane was talking in a way that he didn't recognize. He was speaking about James in a way that he didn't understand, and Cam expressed how he felt a lot of regret and remorse for not telling James about that situation, especially given everything that went down. So then on top of that, we got confirmation from Ashley Kyle and Sanders Kennedy, who are two drama channels. There was confirmation from both of them in videos that Jeffree Star had been giving them information and kind of giving them a heads up on things, especially in Ashley Kyle's video. She had screenshots that showed that he gave her insider knowledge or like a heads up on everything that was about to happen with the Tati drama. So people knew ahead of time, and other drama channels have come out and said, yes, we knew ahead of time because of Jeffree Star. So this led a lot of people to kind of start questioning how big of a hand Jeffree and in turn Shane played in the sister get-in that happened last year. Kind of made everybody start questioning things. I guess I'd always assumed that Jeffree knew things. That was always my interpretation of it, because Jeffree was so ready to back Tati. He was ready to back everything she said. Like, I always knew that Jeffree knew stuff. I will say, I definitely never thought that Shane knew. I know James made the insinuation that Shane knew and that Shane was a part of it, but I always thought that was kind of a reach. I thought he was just mad that he was hanging out with Tati. I don't know. And I think this is where I'm like being really naive, but in Shane's docuseries, in his trailer, there's videos of him watching the bi sister video and like crying because it's so intense and there's so much, and like he's acting like this is the first he's heard of this and he's so shook. So I think naively I was like, oh no, Shane didn't know. But it's pretty obvious that he did. He's even admitted that he did in his apology, which we're about to get to. But now it's been putting a lot of heat on Shane and Jeffree. And also there's now a lot of rumors that Tati, who has not posted a video in I believe like 6 weeks, is going to come and post a video exposing everything, and then she's retiring. That's what everyone's saying. I don't know if that's true. I've been waiting for like 3 days if she's gonna post anything. She hasn't yet. I wouldn't blame her if she didn't. She could literally just retire right now and be perfectly happy with her life. So all of this sort of speculation about Shane and Jeffree's role and everything, all of that has been sort of building over the past few weeks. It's been really building. People are really curious, like, how big of a role did you actually play in this? Why did you all participate in this? When we've now kind of public opinion about the James Charles situation has really shifted into James was completely wronged. So then the other night on Twitter, Shane Dawson put out a very lengthy statement. I'm gonna go through it. He has since deleted all of these things, but he has also said that he stands by what he said, so I do think it's pertinent to talk about. It is titled, "Welcome to the Circus, My Final Thoughts on the Beauty World." This is what I knew. I was like, oh, this is gonna be nutty. A few questions that I've been getting lately. Did I know that she was thinking about making a video? Yes. He never mentions Tati's name in this. And I have to wonder if that's purposeful. Because Jeffree Star in I know I'm already like overanalyzing, but Jeffree Star in the Mom's Basement podcast did say that he wasn't friends, him and Shane. He made it very clear that it was him and Shane. He lumped Shane into this, which is an important point for later. He made it very clear that they're not friends with Tati anymore. I have to wonder if Tati has gotten lawyers involved at a certain point and has said that they need to like stop talking about this. I have to wonder, because why would you not say her name? Why would you not just say Tati? He doesn't. It's weird. Anyway, I know that she was thinking about making a video. Yes. Did I tell her to make a video? No. Did I have any involvement in the video? No. Did I orchestrate it? No. Do I need that kind of drama to make a good series? No. That point, I will say, I think that's a little bit of a point of contention, because if you didn't think you needed the drama to make it like a really interesting series and a good series, I don't know why you would have made it the focal point of your trailer. I'm not gonna say he can't make entertaining videos without drama, because I do think some of his videos are very entertaining, like the Queen Mary series. I think that's all great. But if you didn't need the drama or didn't want the drama as a part of the series, you shouldn't have put it in the trailer. Have I ever tried to ruin a career or make someone look bad in my 15 years on YouTube? No. Do I have a track record of getting into drama with people or having fights with other YouTubers? No. Am I innocent and don't have huge anxiety-provoking regrets about how it could have helped everyone handle it, about how I could have helped everyone handle it better? No. I've had a pit in my stomach since since it all happened. Now on to my final thoughts on the beauty world and my experience in it. The Conspiracy palette was one of the best experiences of my life. The series with Jeffree changed my life and changed me as a person. It helped me be more confident and stand up for myself, which I've always been bad at. So to honor this series and what I learned from it, I'm gonna say this. So this is that's like nice, great. For me, it's hard to say that you gained a lot of confidence and everything. A big part of the series was gaining confidence by also gaining money. This is where it really starts. The beauty gurus who are always involved in scandals are all the same. They are all attention-seeking, game-playing, egocentric, narcissistic, vengeful, two-faced, ticking time bombs ready to explode, and I'm over it. I agree with him on that one. But here's the problem, is he kind of backtracks later, but like this statement, I don't disagree with you. I agree with you that a lot of the people at the top are very egocentric, they're very dramatic, they do a lot of things that are very shady, a lot of them aren't very good people. Like, I believe that, yeah. Yes, they are talented, creative, smart, and love makeup, but they also joined a side of the internet that is obsessed with looks, money, power, fame, screenshots, and subtweets, releasing private texts, voice memos, emails, and other receipts as a way to paint yourself in a particular light or somebody else in a bad light is weird to me, and I will never engage in that. So my only point to that is he's saying they are a part of this side of the internet that is obsessed with looks, money, power, fame, screenshots. The beauty community is not the 1% of the top creators who are like this. Like, that is not the beauty community. And I think that's the overarching real issue with this whole thing, is the people that you are associated in the beauty community are absolutely obsessed with those things. But 99% of the rest of us that are just like chilling in our houses talking about powders with shimmers in it, like, we are not obsessed with that. I don't know a single beauty guru who's not like James Charles, Jeffree Star, a couple others that are up there, obviously. I know beauty gurus that have like 1 million, Robbie Christie, she just had 1 million subscribers. I know for a fact, because I've talked to her, and also I just know for a fact she is not obsessed with money and fame and greed. Like, there's a whole culture of certain YouTubers that are like that. That is not the beauty community. That is not this side of the internet. We don't claim that to be what we are about. He then goes on to say, that is a game that they know how to play well, and I would rather eat my own hands off than play it. Yes, Jeffree is in that list of dramatic gurus, and he would admit that. And he will always be family to me, and I will love him despite those characteristics. So let's circle back. First part, they are all attention-seeking, game-playing, egocentric, narcissistic, vengeful, two-faced, ticking time bombs ready to explode. Jeffree is like that, but he is family to me. I will tell you something. I have said a lot of things about my sisters in moments of anger. I have never said that. I'm very like, that's the only thing. It's like, you're saying all these things. You're saying how much you hate it. You're saying how much you hate the culture. You're saying how much you hate how people act like this. You're saying all of those things. You're saying they're not good people. But then you're like, but Jeffree, he's family. He is very aware of the fact that I don't agree with many of the ways he approaches situations, and I've been very honest with him about needing to make some changes. I'm actually very glad he threw that sentence in there. Obviously, there's no way to know if that's true or not, because he would obviously be handling that privately. He's not publicly saying those things, but I'm glad he threw that in there, because I think the problem a lot of people have with Shane associating with all these problematic people, despite, I mean, obviously the initial problem is like, why are you associating with them in the first place? But a lot of people have been like, you need to be calling them out for this. Like, you can't just be letting them do these things. You can't just be saying it's okay that they're doing these things. So I'm glad he at least said he knows that I don't approve of it. He knows that implies that he at least behind the scenes is saying he doesn't approve of it. We don't know if that's true, but that at least is like, at least you're holding people accountable. But as for being in the beauty world, I can't take the drama anymore, and it's not how I am wired, so I'm out. It's draining, exhausting, depressing, and sometimes amazing, but for me, the amazing is outweighed by the bad. I can't have a pit in my stomach every day waiting for the next scandal or the next exposed video. It's going to give me health issues, and I'm done caring about it anymore. I was rooting for Shane on this one. I feel like a fool for saying this stuff now. I feel like an idiot, because I remember when there was I don't remember who said it, but somebody was like, Shane, like, you came out with this palette, we haven't seen a single makeup look from you. And that's when he announced Shane Dawson. That's when he was like, this is where I'm gonna be uploading my makeup content. I'm gonna be doing makeup tutorials, I'm gonna be doing makeup videos. This is where I'm gonna do that. And we've all been waiting. Everybody's been waiting for a makeup tutorial from you, my guy. You cannot be like, I'm out now. You weren't ever really in it. Like, I'm sorry, you weren't. Yes, you made a palette and you were a part of that side of it. But at this point, that would be like Selena Gomez or Lady Gaga being like, I'm out. I'm no longer part of the beauty community because they made makeup. That's like Ashley Tisdale being like, I'm done after she made makeup. Like, it doesn't work like that. You weren't ever fully in the beauty community in the first place. You never made beauty content. You never did. You put out a palette, but so did Keemstar. So that doesn't say a lot anymore. I will say, I understand his point of the fact that the beauty community, because of the people that he chose to hang out with within the beauty community, there is definitely that culture of waiting for the next exposed video. When is the next thing gonna happen amongst that group of people? Like, sure, I can understand that because he's hanging out with those types of people, but that's not the beauty community as we know it. I've never been involved in drama with another YouTuber ever, and the second I decide to do a beauty series, boom, I'm in the hurricane. So did I plan Dramageddon? Are you serious? No. Do people in the YouTube world come to me like a grandpa and tell me their problems and ask me for advice? Yes. Is it easy for me to get wrapped up in something potentially toxic if I think someone I love is hurting or upset? Yes. It's an issue and I need to work on and have been working on. Shane, I really, like, you cannot be like, the second I entered the beauty community and did a documentary in the beauty community, it was a hurricane. When you picked to do your documentary on the most toxic and scandalous person in the beauty community. Whether you love Jeffree Star or hate him, you cannot deny that he has played a role in 90% of the major dramas that have happened in the beauty community. You don't get to do a series with the person who is involved in all of the drama constantly and then turn around and say, well, I'm so shook that the beauty community is toxic. It's because of who you did the series with. If you had done this series with like so many other YouTubers, it would not have turned into that. But it's because you did a series with arguably the most problematic person in the beauty space. Of course it turned out bad. Of course it was a hurricane of drama. Look at who you're collabing with. You just said so yourself, who he is. You can't blame that on the beauty community. You can't blame that on the people who are part of it. He says, when she told me how upset she was in person, I had the same reflection the world did when they saw her video. I felt awful for her and she seemed broken, so I tried to be there for her and be someone she could talk to about it. So was I shocked that she decided to make a video? No. Was I shocked that Tati read his ass to filth? Yes, I wasn't acting. I didn't know it was going to be that intense. Looking back, I still believe her on a lot of what she said, and I believe she felt it was what she needed to do at the time. Does she regret it? Probably. Does it mean we should see James as some poor, innocent, sweet angel? No, don't get it twisted. Him and Jeffree have always been at the top of the dramatic guru list, and I mean that with love. I have to touch on this. Part where he says, I agreed with most of what she said. This is the problem with all of this. There is either actual evidence that James Charles did something to someone. There is either actual evidence that exists that James Charles did that, and all of these people genuinely believe it, and they genuinely think that's the truth, but that person doesn't want to come forward because that's what they're saying, and so they're just not talking about it, really. They're beating around the bush with it. Or that doesn't exist, and it's all a lie, and it's all a conspiracy to tear down James. Either way, there either is evidence, and instead of taking that evidence to like the police, or just how about respecting the person who doesn't want to come forward because they've made it blatantly clear apparently, if this exists, I'm not saying it does because I have literally no proof that it does. If it did exist, and that person doesn't want to come forward, why are you alluding to things on a podcast? Why are you bringing up that recording at all? Because that's null and void. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to come forward about it. They don't have the confidence to come forward about it. That's their choice. They don't have to do that. Stop alluding to it and using what could potentially be someone's assault story as tea, as a drama, as a little bit of like, add a little bit of spice to everything in your life. Spice things up. Keep this sort of mystery around, did James Charles do it or didn't he? If it happened, either show the receipts or respect the person and shut up about it. I'm so sick of these massive gurus just pitter-pattering around what's true and what's not true. And if they're lying about it, if this is all a lie and they're still insinuating this stuff a year later, despite it being a lie, and they're literally ruining James Charles's name, that's also equally both of those are either way. How you're handling the situation isn't okay. It's not okay. I feel like by him insinuating that he agreed with points Tati made in his video, he's doing what Jeffree did on the Mom's Basement podcast, and he's further feeding that narrative of like, well, there's something out there, you guys don't know about it, but like you could potentially be supporting someone who's like a predator, but we're never gonna tell you. Either don't talk about it or do. You can't do this in between stuff. Cast this light onto James. That's not fair to him. Did I warn James about the video? No. Why? For reasons that I will never discuss. Again, like just feeding, and again, like I don't mean to get so frustrated, but like these are people's lives. This is James's life. This could potentially be a person who doesn't want to come forward. Potentially, if that's even real, this could be their life. Stop using it as this like mysterious pawn to drum up hype around things. Him and Jeffree do this. It's so frustrating to me. We've spoken privately on it, and that's that. Do I think James is the devil? No. Do I think he was a young, egocentric, power-hungry guru who needed to be served a slice of humble pie the size of the Empire State Building? Yes. Has he grown as a person since then? It really seems like it, and that's amazing. I'm truly happy if he's realized how his ego was affecting others, which he did address in his No More Lies video. I do think James has grown. Just as like a side note, I feel like there's some weird mystery around him because of all this stuff. But if you just take that as what it is, where it's like we have no proof of anything, I do think he's grown. I think he's become a better person over the past year. I think he's shown a level of growth and maturity. Does he still screw up sometimes? Yeah. I mean, he's 21. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna come back to the he needs a slice of humble pie the size of the Empire State Building because he addresses it again in a separate statement. So this is gonna be like an hour-long video. I'm already annoyed at myself. Do I think Tati is a villain? No. I think Tati was sick of being treated like by so many in the beauty world and finally snapped. And damn, did she f***ing snap all the way off. Holy shit. She really said it and beat her face to the gods and popped on that ring light and went full Game of Thrones on that shit. Say what you want about her, that video, but that will be in the history books. What? She deleted that video. She literally deleted that video, and that video has since been proven that there were false claims made in it. How can you, I don't understand, I don't know if he meant it this way, but no, I'm gonna say it. I feel like he meant it this way. I feel like he meant it in a way to glorify that video a little bit, and I don't think that's right when that video had a lot of misinformation in it that was later proven to be misinformation. Okay, sorry, back to my rant. Do I think Jeffree orchestrated this whole situation? No. Tati is a strong woman who made a choice. Do I think Jeffree was also upset by some of the issues with James and some things he heard behind the scenes? Yes. Was Jeffree excited to see a competitor fall? Probably. He's Jeffree Star. What do you expect? I expect him to not try to tear down and ruin the life of a then 19-year-old because he's competitive. That's what I expect. I guess that's the expectation. Don't relish in a person being publicly demolished. Like, why? Who relishes in that? Who? Okay, whatever. I'm getting off on a tangent here, but like, Jesus. I guess I missed the part where he got baptized and devoted his life to Christ. I guess I missed the part where being a decent human being is apparently too much to ask of people anymore. Did Jeffree take it too far and big time by tweeting what he did? Yes. And it's one of the biggest regrets of his life. If he regrets it so much, why did he just reiterate everything he said in those tweets a couple of months ago on the Mom's Basement podcast? Why? If that is one of the biggest regrets of your life, why are you rehashing it and basically confirming that what you said was true almost a year later? Why? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. This all happened over a year ago, and I'm really sick of hearing about it and having people constantly use it as a way to keep my name and other names tagged together in drama videos. The person who is pulling you into this, the person who has constantly been using you as a shield for the past year, that person, that's Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star brings you into it. It's never Jeffree anymore. Have you guys, I've noticed this. When he talks about things like this, it's never Jeffree. It's it's Jeffree, me and Shane. Me and Shane are no longer friends with Tati. Me and Shane heard some things. Jeffree is the one pulling you into all of this. I don't know if you know that behind the scenes, but to say that drama channels are lumping you two together, it's because Jeffree lumps you two together. That's not something that's being pulled out of thin air. The person that you're calling family, they're the ones doing that to you. They're the ones mixing you into all of this. Don't get it twisted. Drama will never end with a lot of these people. It's their game, their survival, their drug. They love it. This specific drama went too far, obviously, and hopefully something like that never happens again. Putting drama in the trailer was something I regret more than anything in the world, and I'm mad that I chose tea over my morals. I'm really sorry to Tati and James if me putting their drama in this series at all felt like I was reopening web wounds. Although I did speak to both of them privately about the trailer, I should have not even done it at all. Drama might be fun to watch, but it's not fun to get wrapped up in, and it's my fault for letting that happen, and I'm sick of being trapped in the middle of it. Do I think this will be the last drama involving these people? Ha ha ha, no. No, I don't. Do I want to be involved again? No. Again, just to give credit where it's due, I'm glad he brought up the trailer. I'm glad he said that it was a mistake. He has said that before. I'm glad he's reiterating it because I do think that was a mistake. Remember to not expect these gurus to maintain some high moral code. And we shouldn't have some they must be perfect or they're canceled mentality. The reason you watch these people is because they are so extra. They are dramatic. And if you keep canceling them and wanting them to go away, then who will you talk about? You guys know how I feel. I feel like I just so strongly believe that if you have been gifted a platform, you have been so lucky in life through a mix of like luck and hard work and all these things. If you've been given a platform of 20 million people, I do think it's okay to say, hey, maybe don't bash your fans. Maybe don't call your fans despicable human beings. Maybe don't send people voice notes threatening them, dissing them for recently being in a breakup. Maybe don't have an affiliation with a lipstick brand that you wanted to create that was centered around. Maybe don't say the N-word. Maybe don't make racist jokes. I don't like that phrasing, I guess. It's like, don't hold them to this high moral code. It's the standard. It's just a standard that so many people are able to maintain. So many people on YouTube are able to not do these things, to not have these problems because they're not bad people. He's literally like, hey, if you don't let these people continue to just be people, if you want them to go away, who are you gonna look up to? How about the hundreds of beauty gurus that aren't problematic, that have over like 2 million subscribers? Then we could just talk about them and how pretty we think they are. Like, you don't go to a circus to watch the hay on the ground. You go to watch the over-the-top performers who just want to be liked and want to do whatever they can to get your attention. If you don't want to feed into it, then don't. But before all the drama-free gurus pop off at me and say, well, I'm not involved in drama and I'm perfect, girl, please. Your top viewed videos are probably top makeup fails and anti-hauls with vomit emojis all over the screen. And that's okay. I love those videos, but let's not pretend that the beauty world isn't negativity first, makeup second. Maybe to you. Maybe because of the people you hang around with, like maybe to you. I actually don't disagree with this. I do. I don't disagree with the statement that a lot of top viewed videos are like makeup fails or negative videos about makeup. I made a point actually pretty recently in one of my videos that basically was that, you know, negativity definitely does better on YouTube. But I don't think the reason for that is because we're negativity first, makeup second. And nobody got into this whole space because they wanted to be negative. Nobody was like, hey, I'm gonna start a makeup channel and I'm doing it because I love like, that's not how it happens. You do it because you love makeup. You do it because of that. Honestly, that comparison is really frustrating because it's like, yes, some people probably do a lot better with their more negative product reviews, but they're talking about a product. You're talking about makeup. You're not destroying the career of the people around you. You're literally just saying you don't like a lipstick. Even though you're technically being negative, you're still also technically being makeup first. You're warning consumers about makeup that you don't think is good. It's just how it is, and I'm sick of people pretending to be so above it all. Again, he was never in the community. He never made a fucking video. It's frustrating, it is. I've genuinely, and this is where, again, like I feel like I've been really naive. I genuinely liked Shane. And it's so frustrating to have somebody like, it's like the Kool-Aid man kicking down the walls of the beauty community, infiltrating basically the beauty community. And then when he hung out with the top 1% of people who are so toxic, turning around, leaving a gigantic hole in the wall, being like, all right, you guys suck, bye. Like, can you, it's really, I think what bothers me so much about this is like the level of entitlement that you have to be like, you guys all suck, basically. But I love you, but like, you guys are all toxic. But I love you guys. I don't know. The level of entitlement. And with that said, I love watching beauty channels of all sizes and will continue to watch and support them. The dramatic ones, the non-dramatic ones, and the ones who genuinely just love to show their makeup skills. Sadly, those channels get way less views for the reasons I've stated above. Yeah, he's right about that. So go enjoy the gurus, enjoy the circus, unsubscribe from me if you are mad that I'm no longer engaging in it, unsubscribe to gurus who you don't like, subscribe to gurus you do like. Don't take the beauty world as seriously as I did or as many of us did in 2019. It's not worth it, and I feel like we all lost a bit of our soul during Dramageddon. It's very interesting to me that he's now saying don't take it all seriously, now that we have slowly started to see a decline in Jeffree Star's popularity and more scandals are coming out about him. This whole thing really feels like an attempt to save Jeffree and also in turn save himself from criticism by bouncing now. As for my channels, I am done with the beauty world. I love what I was able to create with Jeffree, and I'm sure people are going to assume I only did it for money, but that's not true. I want to make a note here. I normally am very much like, I truly try to see the best in these things. He posted this like 12 hours after his most recent restock. Come on, like, now you couldn't have decided 12 hours ago that this was what you were gonna post. This was really that spur of the moment for you. You're gonna sit here and say it wasn't about money, but you literally collected millions and millions of dollars from that launch and then millions and millions more from that restock. And now you're very conveniently like, all right, guys, bye. Where was this energy before your restock? I am just choosing to no longer be a part of that world. I will still watch beauty videos, buy and play with makeup, and be a part of it in my life offline. But as for me being a part of that world on YouTube, I don't think it's for me. I need to get back to why I started YouTube back in 2005, and that was to make things that bring me joy, not drama, and to make movies one day. Makeup will, for now, just be a fun hobby I have to help with my anxiety, like slime or emotional eating. And that all sounds really good to me right now. A couple of notes. Couple of things. I don't think that apology was thought out at all. I think he wrote it and then posted it. I don't think there was any forethought. I don't think there was any afterthought. I don't think he thought about it at all before posting it. I think he just wrote what he felt and then posted it. And I think that was a gigantic mistake. This apology wasn't even an apology. He didn't really apologize for anything. It was filled with anger. It was filled with just like randomness. It really was very entitled to have a man who was never a part of this community before, like last year, come in, claim he was so obsessed with it, claim he was so interested in it, never make a single makeup tutorial with his own palette, and then leave. And say, you guys all suck, I'm leaving, can't do it, sorry, I'm gonna go make other content that makes people happy. As if the content that beauty content creators make don't make people. Again, it's just like all so entitled. And it's like, why did you not just like think about that before you posted it? Did you really read that and think like, yeah, this is the move, this is how I'm gonna get him, this is my move? That was really? So notice in that when he talked about the Tati thing, he said how great Tati's video was, said James needed to be served a slice of humble pie and all that. So that all happened and people were really upset about that under his tweet. And frankly, it was again, the constant alluding to having evidence and then never showing it, it's annoying. People are sick of it. So people were like, how can you glorify what Tati did and be like, oh, she went Game of Thrones on us, and say that he deserved that? Like, he got publicly dragged because you guys said you had proof and then you never showed that proof. So he posted another thing. It says, this will be my last and only addition to what I posted. Do I think it was okay for the internet to bully James? No, of course not. Not sure why some people took that away from my post. I literally said it was too far and should never happen again. I think it's because people took that away because you said he deserved a slice of humble pie the size of the Empire State Building. I think that's why. Anyway, I didn't want to get too dark in my post, which is why I didn't go into more detail on that. We all know collectively that the internet was too mean to James, but you didn't, I don't know. I didn't think I needed to reiterate that. Me saying he needed to be humbled isn't mean, it's honest. And he said that in his own video. Should the humbling have happened off camera? Yes. So I feel like if he had just said that, that would have cleared that up. That's why people were confused. He said it in I feel like he's trying to make it seem like everyone's reaching by saying that what he said was pretty rude about James, given everything that's happened. Again, I think it's because he he just didn't think before he posted this. But there was things in that statement that would elude people to think that you didn't feel that way. I guess I didn't word that right, and I'm sorry if my humor regarding Tati's videos seemed like I was making light of the situation. Humor is how I deal with stuff, especially when it involves the insanity of the beauty world. Okay, that's it. Leaving Twitter for a few months. It's bad for my brain. I feel good in my heart about what I said, and that's all I can do. Sorry it wasn't the tea people wanted, but I'm officially done with tea. I don't think anybody wanted tea. I think, like, okay, and then he deleted everything, and he said, I deleted everything. I'm done. For those who wanted me to address it, I did. I'm sure you can find it reposted somewhere, but I don't want this energy in my life or on my timeline. I'm too sensitive for this shit, and I'm done. So that was that on that. I think my final thoughts on this, honestly, is I feel as though with Shane, especially, it's like we know who Jeffree is. Like, I know he's so mean to people. I've heard some of the most vicious things come out of his mouth and on his Twitter to people who claim to be like his biggest fan. I know who Jeffree is. I've always known who Jeffree is. I think with Shane, because he has this persona of being very sensitive and, like what he just said, being very, you know, how Shane is. Like, that's how he got so big on YouTube. I know this has been oversaid, but you can't leave a community that you were never truly a part of. And I know that Shane bought a ton of makeup and got like really into doing his makeup and, you know, watched channels. He found my channel because he was watching all these beauty channels. So I know that that's true, but at the same time, to call out an entire community and talk to the community, because that's what it was addressing our community. To call out the community in that way and to compare us and how we act to what Jeffree Star has done, what, you know, James has done, all the scandals he's been in, what all of these really toxic, Nikita Dragon, like what all of these really toxic people at the top, to compare the entire community to that and basically act surprised when you only talk to toxic people and then everything around you became toxic. It's definitely disheartening and it's annoying, honestly. Today I just saw a bunch of creators, small creators, did the beauty community tag, and they just talked about creators they loved, and it's so pure. I have met some of the most amazing people in my entire life, and none of what he is saying about them add up to like what he is insinuating the community is. It makes me mad that he's gonna waltz into our community, make millions and millions of dollars off of claiming he really genuinely cares about this, claiming he really genuinely loves makeup, he really is so interested in it, make a fortune off of that, and then do the restock, and then 12 hours after people gave you even more millions of dollars, basically say that we all suck and you're out. That's how it feels. It does. And it's like, I guess it's just, I'm over it. And I think a lot of people are over it. It reminds me similarly to like the Gabby Hanna situation of just like, there's so much narrative twisting with a lot of people. And I think it's interesting that Shane called out a lot of other people for narrative twisting when that's what it felt like this was. This feels like narrative twisting. You're not being dragged into this for no reason. You're being dragged into it because of your friend Jeffree Star, who you refuse to disassociate from. I don't know. I love you guys so much. I hope you like this video. Please let me know your thoughts down below. I'd be very interested. I'm sorry this video is like a freaking podcast. I love you guys so much. I hope you like this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're here watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I am wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with a link to register to vote. That's right. You can click on that link. You can register to vote. You can be part of your democracy. Super fun thing to do. Always should do it. Also down there will be my little social media spotlight corner. I post just like petitions, things you should be aware of. I've had Breonna Taylor down there for a while. Please go sign that petition if you have not and become informed on her story, because it's really important. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!